So this lesson today is going to be on the comparison of adverbs. You can find this on page 51 of your book if you want to follow along. I ask that if you're distracted by chatting or Facebook or Reddit or whatever, if you could please minimize those windows for right now and just pay attention to what I'm doing. You'll have a chance to go back to them after the video. Also, take any notes you have on this. Put those in your Latin binder, and bring any questions you have to class. So to start, we already know that adjectives have 3 different degrees. We have the positive, comparative, and superlative. So for example, one of our recent vocab words was durus. So durus, durior, durius, and durissimus, You also have the examples of lightus, lightior, lightius, lightissimus, So we see the differences. So the positive is just your standard degree of adjective. Your comparative has the eor or eos ending on it, and it declines like a third declension adjective. And then your superlative have the issy in there, the issim, as the indicator that it's in the superlative. And so we translate this hard, harder, hardest, or if we were dealing with lightus, happy, lightus, happier, lightior, lightissimus, happiest. And we also, in the last chapter, reviewed how adverbs and adjectives are similar to one another. So to go from hard to hardly, we just add an E onto the end. We also have, we remember grawis going to grawiter, heavy, heavily, happy, lightus, to lighte, happy to happily. So it follows that if adjectives have 3 degrees and you can make adverbs from adjectives, that means you can make the different degrees of an adverb as well. So let's do lightus because it's easier to make adverbs out of that. So we already know how to do the positive adverb. So we have lighte here. The comparative adverb is very simple. It's just the neuter form. Lightius. More happily. The superlative. Does the same as the positive. You drop the US and you add an E. Lightissime. Most happily. Very happily. Now remember, adverbs don't decline. So these 3 forms, lighte, lightios, lightissime, are the only adverb forms you have dealing with happy. Alright? They don't decline at all. Now, looking at this, what adverb form are you going to have to be careful about? Hopefully at this point you're all thinking to yourself, the comparative. Why are we going to have to be careful about the comparative? What about the comparative is similar to other endings that we already have? again, hopefully you're thinking, oh, it's very similar to the nominative singular of the second declension. And almost all of those endings in the fourth declension, etc., etc. So we have to be careful with recognizing that litios is a comparative adverb and not one of these other forms in the other declensions. How do we know that? Well, context of the sentence. If there's no neuter noun in the sentence, we know it probably is not an adjective. If it is standing on its own where there's no noun, it seems to make most sense with the verb. We're probably dealing with the adverb. So using the context of the sentence is going to be helpful to that. All right. Now, with the comparatives, like litius or like tardius, it can have a special meaning. They can have the meaning of being too late. So in your book on page 52, they give you the sentence medicus tardius advenit. Medicus, the doctor, tardius, medicus advenit, the doctor arrived, tardius, too late. All right. The literal translation is later than was helpful, giving you that comparative form, later than. So comparatives can have another translation, as in to something. Tardius is the best example of that. Too sweet, though. The dinner was made too sweet, sweeter than was necessary. So you can have this special meaning in some of the adverbs. Also, when you have the superlative adverb and you have a quam in front of it, what does that do? Well, hopefully you took this moment to think, oh, wouldn't that be, quam can be as quickly as, as blank as, in this case, as quickly as possible. But if we added it with quam tardissime, as slowly as possible. So quam with a superlative can mean as blank as possible. All right. In class, you should have received a handout with all of the irregular adverbs. So just like adjectives, good, bad, great, little, and much, those adjectives are irregular in Latin. They're also irregular with their adverb forms. The adjective and adverb forms are very similar. Bonus, bene, melior, melius, optimus, optime are the good, better, best. Adverbs, let me show that to you. So here, bonus, bene, melior, melius, optimus, optime. So they're similar to each other, but they are irregular. Bonus and melior and optimus are only tangentially related. All right, so those will have to be memorized. You're going to want to work on memorizing them because in class I will assign them as a quiz. So that's what we have on the comparison of adverbs. If you have any questions, please bring them to class or you can email me, and I will see you in school.